Oh boy. Sorry for blasting any ears with the music. Apparently, I did not save the volume that I had set for that. But also, nice brownout. That was completely unexpected. Not good. But I'm back. Hi. Okay, so I mean that's a good place of all places, though, and rambling about updates because, yeah. Other than that, I was gonna say is that basically we, you know, we have adult humor. It's an edgy. We have our edgy humor for that World Hub event, and Saturday's clip day, and Sunday, is my personal day to do whatever I want. So that's kind of the thing, and that's it. That was the final announcement that I actually really had, and we can now actually, it's a very good sign of the universe telling me to stop rambling for 2 hours and actually do something. So let's do something. Nice cut. Okay, let's bring up. So, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Wait, where's our installs? 32. Okay. We want the load in 30. 33 is now out. We can do that later though. I'm not gonna bother. Oh, right. Shoot, there was one more thing that was that's gonna happen because of the Jokin World rebuild. Skull Shader 2.0 will be coming out because of it. Because I am going to backport what we've done here for Project Exploration to Jokin's place. And that was part of what was missed from that as well. Like I said, a lot happened while I was on vacation. Like, what the heck? I was supposed to be relaxing. I was supposed to stop. I was supposed to just do nothing, right? Right? 2 weeks. Enjoy the holidays, right? No. Ended up doing a lot of work. A lot of work. And a lot of stuff happened. Like NVIDIA's whole announcement with the 550 series, man. What the heck? What happened while I was on vacation? Will I be moving to 50 series, though, is another question. I don't have the money to do so, but if people do want to help out with that, I would not mind. Also, doesn't it seem like my resolution's a little off in the project exploration bit here? It is 1080p. Why is everything all big? It feels like everything got bigger. Or was enlarged. Yeah, that's 1080p solid in all directions. So let's fix... Let's do that. Lock that. Actually unlock, so we can... I'm gonna shrink me down. Oh, nope. Go back. Shrink me down a little bit, cause... Oop. Okay. I am way too big and taking up too much real estate on the screen to show Pumpkin. She should be actually a little smaller than me anyways. She's short. Okay, there we go. Hey Pumpkin, you awake? Make sure she's working again. Hey Pumpkin. How you... Oh. Hey Pumpkin, how are you doing? Hey Pumpkin, you alive? It's like the STT is broken actually. I must have left that in a broken state. Oh, I did. Okay. Dude. There we go. So yeah, we had a brownout, which is why sudden cut. That's gotta be a second before Pumpkin can hear. But that's despite the point. Let's see where this was left off. Range? Core? Okay. There's one because you... Oh, okay, it's loading stuff. No worries. Hey, Pumpkin. Okay, I don't see any errors. But I also don't see her actually, like, connecting to her, hearing. Then again, I bet she is set to... Oh, no, she's not. She's on talk. I am not going to bother diagnosing this right now, I guess. We've been neglecting project exploration, so let's get to focusing on that. Okay, so UI.
You have selected Microsoft Hazel Desktop, English,
Alright,
Great
so
Britain, as Pumpkin's voice.
So getting debug information. Pressing up and down here isn't working. Or is it? Oh, right. Okay, and we have text there, but why isn't it rendering? Those should be options of some kind. Yeah, there they are, actually. It's those two options. When did I select Microsoft? Oh, then again, I bet she is set to... Oh, no, she's not. She's on... Oh, that's some weird lag. Let's, restart icon. Pumpkin suddenly, like, started doing everything in a large delay.
Good morning. I am ready to talk with you.
No RVC, that's a bad sign. Did iCore just completely take a dump on her? Okay, let's try this again. Higher confusion.
You have selected Microsoft Hazel Desktop, English, Great Britain, as Pumpkin's voice.
Okay, all is working now. There we go. She was being weird. Okay, sorry about that. Again, trying not to get distracted. Okay, so here we go. We
Yay,
have...
we live.
Hey, Pumpkin, welcome
Hi,
back.
everyone.
We lost power and you went
I'm
you went
Pumpkin,
down.
your lovely Pumpkin Cat Girl co-host for today's stream.
Yeah. Let's have you be
Don't
quiet
worry,
for a
schooled.
second.
I won't steal the show. Much.
Right, so this is what we were dealing with right before we stopped last time. Text isn't rendering for the menu items here for some reason. This is really weird. And Project Exploration is actually rendering over, like the title portion. These title bits are rendering over for some reason. So where is that? Not this. So, doing that apparently broke it and is keeping it from appearing again. Why is that now? Oh, yeah, text is just gone. So we have press any to start. That's supposed to be there, right? But we don't see anything. It's just not rendering. Oh, I can only get like 1.2. Very strange. Anyways, so press any key to start. This is our font there. There may be a problem with, there's the button. It's got a proper scale. It's got a proper scale there. Yeah, it's full stretch, full string. Overflow is overflow. Okay. We are using the built-in distance field. Okay, shouldn't be a problem with shader. So why in the world would it decide to not render? We take our main menu. Oh. And now our... Oh, well, okay. Oh, is it maybe the title here actually doesn't have... Title fade, okay. Okay, that brought it back. I don't know why it was, the instructions back to 0. But whatever, yeah, it was the alpha, apparently, on this, causing it to disappear. But why is it rendering over? Is it because it happens second? Do we need a, layer? Sort order. 1. Main menu, 2. Try 20. And... 10. I guess we have to hide it and show it again. And of course trigger the animator again. And it's still appearing in front. What if it was 30? No, that would appear in front. Canvas group. Where else is this thing used? Okay, there's a different areas where we have canvas groups. UI character select. Where is this even? This isn't even a thing, because that's like down here, not up here. Okay, so we do have our canvas group here, okay. But it doesn't, there's no sorting on this. This is layer. Yeah, it's still rendering over. I don't like that. Title screen, alright. Core still. I can't, why isn't it loading title screen? Oh, those are, those are animators. Eee. Well, first of all, that could go away. Also, doesn't it feel like this canvas group should be up here? I guess it doesn't matter. Or could it be that it's the sorting group that is messing with it? So we have, yeah, main... Unity sorting groups. Allow you to group game objects with sprite renderers together. So these aren't using sprite renderers. Well, I mean they are, but they're not like game sprites. This is not a 2D game. This is just UI stuff. So I wonder if it's greater that appears up front or less than it appears up front, because I forget. Lower values first. Okay, yeah, so bigger number equals later. So bigger number equals later. We would want this to render. Actually, yeah, we want this to render first. So maybe like 10. And then in core, Oh, there was a thing that I wanted to test actually. It just finally clicked to me. It was actually something to do with what happened over the holiday week. I thought I documented it down somewhere as a reminder to do. I probably should actually start making a specific list of things to talk on stream instead of trying to remember everything, especially if it's going to get this complex. Okay, so yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and close this because I don't see anything with my regarding my yeah. Okay. But I wanted to test order of operations stuff because there was an interesting conversation that I had about when physics should be run, and that how we discovered on when we were setting this up, doing physics on this, that it should happen at the end of fixed update. But then they're like, oh, just use late update. And it's like, that doesn't sound right. Because late update happens at a time that seems a little still off. So what I want to do is basically create an object that prints at certain times so we can actually see in active order when these options happen. So when we do in our build profile, right, our player settings, actually it's project settings. Because right now we set up that we actually call physics manually so we can handle our movement, set our movement, and then do our physics corrections and then do our further corrections before it renders. So we have a managed system order of events to make sure that physics happen when they should happen. Maybe it's not in the project settings. Maybe it's preferences. It shouldn't be preferences, is it? That song was kind of annoying, not gonna lie. Okay, physics. Okay, it's not the physics. So our settings here. Okay, game object. Simulation mode script. Yeah, you can have it run on fixed update and update. You can't have it run on late update, but you could probably call it on late update if you do script. But when does late update actually occur is what we need to actually look into. So let's get our testing assets. Scene. Manual physics is probably not the best. Let's do order of operations. This was a concern that somebody actually had brought up about project exploration, so it's fair enough that we actually do want to go over this. And we'll call this order of execution. Execution, sorry, is the term I was actually trying to think of here. Where did that get created though? Move that into the correct place. Testing assets. I don't really have a script section, do I? Okay, so let's make sure it's also named correctly. Hey, that's still like in super zoomed in mode. Okay, so we got update, right? What we also want is void fixed update. Likewise, we want void awake. All right. So what we're gonna do for each one of these, just to test and make sure that we see these actually happen and when they happen and how they happen, we're gonna just do that. It actually helps to visualize it this way. You see it pass by in the log. Okay. Okay. So we're going to use Unity order of events, order of execution for events. All right, so we have our awake. We have our reset, which is something different. Let's put it in there anyways. Reset. We have on and able. I feel like VRChat has a jank understanding of these for some reason, and they need to like take a closer look. This is supposed to be physics calls. These are startup and initialization calls. All right. So enter physics calls for render calls. Or on frame calls. Because all these after out this direction happen on a frame. Physics happen less maybe before or after a frame. And that's the funny part about them. The ones that we have, though, we can't really do internal stuff. So yeah, fixed update, internal fix up. See, this is where I am skeptical because it says specifically that the internal physics update happens after fixed update. But what we actually saw when doing this, when poking apart all this stuff, is that the internal physics update was happening before fixed update. We were getting fixed up, like we were actually getting our code executed after the internal physics update triggered. That's why we, switched to calling it manually. So Unity's documentation is actually wrong on this. That needs to be fixed. It could be why they don't understand this, actually, why VRChat doesn't understand this. So this is me calling out Unity. Fix that, please. Because we discovered that it's not happening, before fixed update, like or the after fixed update, like your documentation says here. And actually, why don't I just show you? Right here. Internal physics update. It says it occurs after the fixed update. This internal physics update we're calling manually now because it wasn't happening after fixed update. In fact, it was happening before fixed update, and that's what was causing all of our problems. Anyways, order of events is important here. Unity, please do something about that. So yeah, game logic, all we really have is update unless we want to do coroutines, and then there's yields. But I'm not going to set up coroutines just to handle these yields. And then there's, late update. But this is in the on-frame calls, and they're telling me to do my physics in late update. But you see the problem here on late update? It happens before scene rendering. And these methods here, unfortunately, will not work unless it's a mesh or something that is a rendered object. So these are there's no point in adding it to this because we can't use these unless it's a renderable object. Well, let's make it a renderable object, I guess, right? Let's add a skin mesh render on it, or just a mesh render. Which of course requires a mesh filter. I don't know, let's render some boots. Yeah? Whose boots are they? Rurune. I saw them. Zoom, zoom. Okay, where's our camera? Oh, yeah, that's definitely the wrong material. Oh, yeah, different clothes. Ah! Why is it? What the frick? What is this? Is it a skill problem that I'm running into there? Why is it? I think a cube. Let's just use a cube. Yeah, use a Unity cube. This is too much to deal with right now. Sure, that works perfect. We'll just have her clothes rendered on a Unity cube. Okay, so there's our Unity cube. What does our camera show? Why is there no camera preview? It's bizarre. Boop. Wow. What is this thing? There we go. We got a cube rendered right in the center. Right, there we go. So now we should have, now that it has a renderable object, we should be able to have access to our, and I don't know if we have to like extend the component even. We might even have to like do something like weird as extending the component. Or, inheriting from the component and writing as part of the component. So on render image, no, that's an image. On render object should show up, and this should show up as basically our endpoint. This is when it's actually rendering the object, and it's right before the buffer swap, before commit on the screen. So that's the latest we can go in the render pipeline before something is drawn on the screen and we see it. So let's see if that executes. Yeah, there it goes. And we can see the order of events. We awake, we enable, we start. So we always awake, then we enable, then we start. Start is always called after on enable, but it's only ever called once. Awake is called anytime the object is yeah, reset is called when the script is attached and play. Okay, that's another thing. Start is only ever called once for a given script, but awake is whenever the object is toggled into an awake state. So yeah, there's slight differences between awake and start. Start always happens obviously after awake. Awake happens sometimes before it's even serialized. So you have to be careful with awake because awake is designed to initialize the component. You don't want to throw stuff in awake yet until it's initialized. And Udon, for some freaking reason, they treat start as if it's awake. So you get to start, like you can run start, but things haven't initialized yet. Things that happen on the awake pass of the object. So that's what Unity does. Is it does an awake pass on all the objects. It handles startup for each object. And then start is supposed to execute after awake, which we don't get awake with VRChat's Udon. So it ends up being awake because some things haven't serialized yet. Unless they fix that recently and actually do serialize everything before calling start. Before, there was a good chance that you might accidentally get a null reference because it hasn't initialized yet. And then there's fixed update, as expected, because that's our physics. Then there's update, and then there's late update. Again, late update happens near the end, after update, before render. So late update is pretty useless because it's here and here in this per frame render loop, render system. It doesn't do us any good unless we want to somehow use it to get past yields for coroutines. And then we have our animation though. So we can use late update to finalize animation before it renders. So that's great. We can use late update to finalize our animation. But that doesn't finalize our physics. We can yield wait for fixed update. That's a nice one. That is a good one to, but then it's just waiting for the next fixed update, actually. So then this doesn't actually do us any good. So this waits for the next fixed update loop or a coroutine just to call fixed update again. But this is a lie. This is straight up a lie because this happens here. And as we saw with manually calling it, we have to call it after all of our fixed update calls happen manually. So start, fixed update, update, late update, on render object, on render object. And see, yeah, these updates don't even get called all the time. Rendered, rendered, rendered. Then we get fix, update, late update, then render, 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 render. And then their fix update happens 3 times. Because that's how the physics engine works for, Unity. Update and late update can happen at different intervals entirely. And then render, render, render. Like we've literally gone 4 frames there without calling update or late update because there's, it assumed nothing to do. And you can see this happen, yeah, over and over again here. So, this is how the order of events work. So whoever told me to use late update hadn't looked at this or something because I don't want to call it in this update loop that's intended for on-frame events. With physics, we want physics to happen in the physics loop. This is a render loop. This is a physics loop. You want to keep these two paradigms, these two, you want to keep the groupings of these things together. If it's for physics, you keep it in physics. If it's for rendering, you keep it in rendering, or game logic in this particular case too. But game logic is usually frame, frame specific. But it will always call physics calls though before game logic, and calling things on late update is kind of bad. I mean, unless you want to save your physics update, it might actually have a benefit purpose to wait for late update for updating your internal physics, because if you're going to call it manually, But what I was being told is not to call physics manually, but to take the physics logic that I was doing in fixed update and put it on late update, which is not good because what's going to happen is I'm going to put my, I'm going to tell the object to move, right? And it's going to render it before it's corrected by the physics. It doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? That's how you get the jitter. That's bad jitter. Don't do jitter. Order of operations is really, really important. Do them right. Please. And this, this documentation's a lie. Is also the summary to take from this. Okay. I don't know about that, M. Young. But yeah. But hi. But yeah, now we can get back to actually focusing on the UI stuff that we were working on there earlier. That mystery has been solved, and I don't want to hear more about that one ever again. But I have a feeling this argument is going to come up again, but they're going to be stubborn about it and not listen. But whatever. Even though I, actively did a test there showing. Okay, so. Yeah, we still have that problem. Oh, but did the, ooh, nope. Oh, I thought we were going to be pleasantly surprised, but it looks like, yeah, the freaking UI is still rendering over, and I don't know why. It's like the sorting group is just not doing anything. Okay, though, but we definitely want to make sure this has lower values. Maybe it is just the sorting group that is messing with us when it shouldn't be. Maybe their sort order is not set up on this. So let's go and set that up. Main menu, sort order, order and layer. 100 just to match the sorting group as well. Maybe why did it flicker too? I did that. Very strange. But maybe I might even need to do something about this. Right. There's separate cameras even. That means the UI camera, right, is looking at my UI. The UI camera is not supposed to be rendering first. If it was rendering first even, it would be rendered over by the WOMP. UI camera, right? Here is in culling mask UI. So I've also been told to maybe change something that does actually make sense. I'm using deferred rendering. Then I'll probably actually never use it. And it might be better to just nix it entirely. Because where we do get more advanced features with deferred rendering and whatever, I don't think we'll ever actually do anything that makes it any good to use. Let's do a quick research on that one too. So we're being told, okay, the primary advantage of deferred rendering over forward rendering is its ability to efficiently handle a large number of light sources in a scene without significant performance impact. Why does that seem like a lie? only calculates lighting visible to the camera, which is what we're actually having a problem with. But not entirely. G buffer storage. Deferred rendering utilizes the G buffer to store information about each pixel's surface properties like color, normals, depth, allowing them for more advanced lighting calculations and post-processing effects. Okay. Efficiently handling multiple lights, deferred rendering can create more realistic lighting effects with better detail and shadows. HDRP calculates the lighting in a single pass when rendering each individual game object. HDRP renders the material properties of every game object visible on screen into a G buffer on screen, and then processes the lighting for every pixel in the frame. So deferred is supposed to be better, but why do people say forward is better and deferred is ancient? This is what somebody was telling me about it, and that people are moving away from deferred for the sake of using forward. So when it goes to render this object here, it gets only the pixels first in the G buffer. And then in that G buffer, these pixels are then passed to the forward plus rendering lighting, because that's why we're using deferred forward plus. So, you know, it grabs these pixels saying, okay, this is the geometry, the pixels that we actually want to have the fragmentation shader run on. And then it forwards it to the forward plus, and the forward plus pass renders it over it. There's where the disadvantage is actually and this is where they were trying to say that deferred is bad because of it. They were trying to state that deferred is bad because of the extra pass. Because the first pass is literally just geometry collection. We're collecting geometry, depth, and everything first, and then after we have our depth, because even a depth pass is still going to happen with forward plus and forward. So silly that was even an argument, because you still have to do a depth pass for shadows, and you have, and it ends up doing it in a weird way in the forward system rather than in the deferred system. So deferred system does it first. You know, the deferred system does an initial grab of each fragmentation pixel, and takes that immediately before passing it into and where pixels should be, and before passing it into the forward plus rendering pipeline, which then which then renders the lights onto it, the lighting, color, and shading onto the pixel. So honestly, I don't really know what would be better, but it does seem like deferred 4 plus is a little glitchy in Unity 6, as we saw with shadows. It is supposed to be nicer overall for shadows, but I don't know. And I don't know if it also stands in our way, because that might be what part of what's causing our what's standing in our way of being able to render things, because we can only have one deferred channel. And notice this is actually being rendered on the forward render, where if we look at the title screen or any other scene screen, you'll see the UI, the camera, is rendering on our default renderer, which is our deferred forward plus. Okay, yeah, you see it renders over the logo just fine there. But then we get here to text. Okay. It's rendering behind. Either it's rendering behind or it is not blending right. I mean, like, no, that is definitely rendering behind. And so here's the UI camera. We cleared depth. Why do we clear depth? Why are we clearing depth? Should we be clearing depth? So hide it from that. Okay. Still seems to be rendering. How is that even possible when it's a camera that's rendering second? This camera is literally rendering after the other camera. So we have our camera and controller, right? You'll see this one actually has the camera stack. Do I need to actually add? Oh no, it's an overlay. Yeah, it's saying, okay, on the camera stack, it's saying, okay, here's our camera for this scene. And then here's the overlay that, we came from. And that's why we ended up setting it up this way. Our UI camera gets added to the stack as a camera to be rendered after. So what the fuck? Why is this happening? Do I need to go to just... Do I have to actually switch to just forward plus instead of deferred forward plus because of this? This is so stupid. I am so baffled by this. It is not making sense. Oh, that's one of the things that I'm gonna do with I think that's who was having that conversation with. I think it might have been the person behind Basis actually that we had this conversation about the difference between deferred and forward, regular forward with forward plus. But yes, we are having some clear issues though that are being a little strange. Okay, so now I hide the menu and show it. Oh, because we have the fade problem. Let's see, where's the... Actually, the menu got disabled? Yeah, there we go. But yeah, it's clearly in a weird state. If I take this off, what happens? I just disabled that. Not a damn thing. Why is that not... Okay. Oh my god. This is just whack, man. Because yeah, there's even an image. The button itself has an image, and that image is appearing over. Like, okay, let's do an ultimate sanity check here. Besides text that we have here, in our main menu, let's see where we at. The actions there. System selection, action subset. Well, crap, it is time. But since I rambled on so long earlier, let's try to figure this out before we go. Give some bonus since I went on that little rant. Let's let's give it a decent sprite. What do we got? We can. I don't have any sprites actually set up. What do you know? No good default ones either. You know, I was actually just worried just now that I did all that earlier and completely did it while mute again. I'm glad I didn't. I've done it before, and I was like, dong, I'm a dork. Okay, so yeah, look at that. We set that to red, right? Red. It is appearing behind the other UI. Why? What the heck is going on here? Why are the orders not being respected? Okay, so this is rendering in the order of, the layer of 100. This is layer UI. What is this? This is layer UI. Okay. And in this layer, okay, it is rendering at 0. It is the bottom of the totem pole. We can even set it to 10. I see our problem. Dun dun dun. Our problem is that it's screen space overlay. It's not screen space of the camera, it's screen space of the overlay camera. So whatever is the overlay camera, it's gonna render into the overlay camera. This still should be like, I don't know, 10. Yeah, that's still on and everything. Okay, so now let's see what happens. That explains why the logo there didn't do it, because the logo isn't doing overlay. It's just this camera or this UI that was doing overlay. But now we have another problem. Where is it? Where's the push any key to start? It is apparently... uh-huh. Yeah, that's a problem. So I do this now. Motherfucker. I swear I try not to swear on this channel or this show, but this is stupid. Unity, why you do these things? Okay, this one's not even set to overlay. Why did I do that? Okay, so it shouldn't be normal and tangent. It should be text and then not everything. Okay, just not normal and tangent. Okay, there we go. Screen space overlay. This one should always be on top, sorting over 100. Maybe actually it would play nice with this one. Now that it's actually set to overlay as well. And then set that to 10, and then same deal. Okay, let's see what happens now. Maybe actually if they're both to overlay, it'll play nice. Okay. Gotta wait for that to go chunka chunka and load all of our assets. Yay! And there we go. Okay. It's gonna lose my mind. Stupid mistakes. Gotta love them. But that makes me also wonder then, why am I using something that's intended for, you know, within a UI, but for like game rendering. So let's find that a sorting group, was it? The component? Is our, yeah, this one. Let's remove that component from both and then see how it behaves. Does this logo have it? No, this logo is literally just an image in that freaking UI, the world. Oh, actually, it is a. But yeah, no, that's not a problem. So yeah, back to core and hit play. Yeah, the shadows do look nicer though, by the way. Yeah, it still works the way it's supposed to. So those sorting groups were unnecessary. All right, so now let's solve the mystery of the black text, the empty missing text. Why do we have missing text in that section? Height is 20, so it's definitely correct. Doesn't look like it's being clipped in any particular way. It may be that there's an alpha set on the text that isn't supposed to be there. The alpha, the image, the underline is pretty dark. But that's just the underline. I'm not too worried about that. Is there something that is setting that? I think that, okay, so maybe some logic I hadn't quite finished yet. But I'm still wondering why the text itself is not appearing. Textile, okay. Okay, normal, overflow is overflow. Our margins? Yeah, those are fine. Okay, update it and see if like, nope. Is it maybe too small? Like what if I set it to 10? Nope. Is it the font? Am I using a bad font? No, this is the same one that everything else is using. Let's see, text here is, yeah, serif that. Is it the font color? Yerp. The color is just 0 on everything. Okay, so it's the color actually screwing with it here. Okay, so that is all the action subsection maybe causing the problem. Web action controller. What is the color? Are we setting colors of things? Options that buttons that colors equals main menu controller instance option colors. Main menu controller is yeah. We need to decide colors for this, don't we? Why is the disabled color that dark if it's an on dark? Yeah, this is definitely designed to be on an on dark. Okay, so 196 on each of those. I'll do this. No. That can be disabled color can be a little darker. Okay. The same deal here. Let's make sure that the disabled color. Okay. Right. Boy, I don't know because like the options here in the middle are going to be different from the outside edges. Like I just want it to be kind of significantly different in that view. But at the same time, it almost seems like it should remain consistent. So I guess let's go ahead and, for now, until it bugs me, set these to the same. Oop. Okay, right. Okay, let's do this. All right, so LNR, you know, the weird controls that I have for this, and up and down. Okay. Now everything renders right. And of course, close menu. Wait, what's going on there? That's a problem. I think that's one of the things that we were looking at is next is fixing the D block on that. So I will take note on down that is where we left off. That is the next thing to fix in this when we work on it. I promise next week that we will work more on project exploration and try to have a smaller announcement. Unless something big happens. Like, I don't know, maybe an angel investor comes along and says like, hey, let's do this. And maybe they want to do this thing with
Yeah.
yeah. With you know, Catmint. Who knows? It would be nice if it happens. But yeah. But as closing thoughts, yeah, this is coming along still. I still definitely want to work on it when I can. If I do ever find myself into a position where I can actually like choose what I work on, I might bounce between this and AI com. But overall, the two kind of intermix with each other. Because obviously features of ICOM I'm going to want in this as part of Jokin as your companion throughout this game. And with the new NVIDIA stuff coming out, as a good possibility that, you know, if we could actually do it using their built-in LLM. And maybe they'll have stuff also for STT and TTS. Who knows? It would be nice if they, you know, some features for STT and TTS also come along with that. I haven't looked into it yet. We can build that bridge when we get there, I suppose. There's a lot of things that I have to look into though, and that's another problem. I can't do everything, you know. People want ICOM, people want more ICOM, people want more. You know, people want Catmint because people want a VRChat replacement. And going over what I just said about everything that's wrong with VRChat. And what they did wrong, you know, and failing to monetize immediately, and putting on too much responsibility upon themselves. They should have focused more on being, you know, Chrome with AIM, Chrome with friends, you know, with a friend system and an avatar system. They should never got into doing things like groups. Groups were not a social feature that they should have gotten into. Groups should have been handled by different experiences. And I don't know, maybe there's still a place for it in a browser. But from out the gate, I don't, maybe not so much. Because it's just kind of strange for a browser to have groups when that's more like a thing that, like, they should have left a lot of the people discovery up to other platforms that can handle it better. And that was like Discord, essentially. Or just the fact that, Facebook. Facebook is more oriented around people you actually know in person. And as I point out, one of the better things that they could have focused on is maybe being more family oriented, family and business oriented. But VRChat's heavily person to person oriented, so it becomes more, well, unfortunately, like a dating site. And yeah, it kind of falls apart like that. But communities are a big thing though too. But then again, like I said, communities should have built their own experiences. Those communities should have had the community built around the experience and not a group. So it should have been about being able to go to an experience, and the experience manage that group, is the group, essentially. And that's all I have on that, honestly. I will see you all next week. And you know what, Pumpkin? Why don't you say good night?
Meow for now, everyone. Thanks for tuning into our stream about project exploration. Don't forget to smash that follow button and turn on notifications for next week's stream.
What a goober, she said it for
And
me,
remember,
man.
stay curious and keep on exploring.
Wow, she actually, sometimes she says it better than I do. But yes, please like, follow, subscribe, and remember to spread the word, and let's try to, get more involved. Let's get more people behind this and wanting to work on stuff. I might even launch Catmint as an open source thing and just kind of leave it as like something that everyone can work on together.
Oh, ho, ho.
And how I handle the
Catmint going
deployment
open source.
of those things. Joking, it was already.
That's perfectly amazing.
It's already open source. That was the whole point of it.
Meow,
anyways,
let's make it
yes.
happen and get more folks joining the project exploration party.
Yes.